Hi, I'm Ayman, and today I'll be talking about education and school. So I have my tablet here in front of me, and the tablet here's the the timer, and here are the questions. So today I do everything I can to answer all of the 15 questions. So wish me luck. So let's start with the first question, which is says, "What's your favorite subject at school?" Actually, my favorite subject was technology in general, and also I like history and also the other subjects related to science and environment and the human body. You can say that I like different things, but the most thing I like is technology and also English. So I hope this answers the question. So let's move on to the next one, which is says, "Who is your favorite teacher?" Actually, don't have a specific. I don't have. Actually, it depends. It depends on the subject, and it depends on the way the teacher explains the lesson. So it depends, but in general, I would say if I had to choose, I would say that it is the history teacher or the science teacher, which is science. It includes biology and also social science. Yeah, but it depends on a lot of factors like the subject itself, how I'm interested in it, and the way the teacher explains the lesson. So it depends, but I think this is my answer. This for now. So the next answer, the next question says, "Do you like exams? Why or why not?" Actually, exams, education in general, I think it needs to make some adjustments, small adjustments, to adopt the technology era. But sometimes exams are required because they wanna assess your understanding of the subject you've learned or you've studied. And I would say that it's what was the question? In general, it depends. I like, but I would say that I don't like exams. Even though I I I scored high on exams because I know how to pass them. But sometimes when I when I pass the exam, I forget almost all of the subject because I was preparing for the exam, and also I just was I wanted to pass the exam, not to understand. But sometimes we need to learn, study because we want to understand, not to pass the exam. So I would say I don't like exams. Some exams are required for the medicine and law, but some are nonsense. Yeah, nonsense. I hope this answers the question. So let's move on to the fourth question, which is says, "How many hours do you usually study each day?" Each day I usually spend from five to I would say 10 hours just studying, learning, doing my homework, or studying for exams, preparing for exams, and for improving my English or preparing for a college admission. And sometimes I'll be I'll be what? Yeah, learning new things which or new skills like programming, English, also finance, economics, because I think I find myself that I'm a generalist, which means I'm a multi-passionate person. I like to know a lot about different topics, different fields, and it happens that I can combine them together to come up with new things. Also, this is this helps me to change the way I think about problems and about some things. So this is I hope this answered the question. So let's move on to the fifth questions. Let's move on to the next question, which is which the question fifth. The question says, do you prefer studying alone or with friends? The majority of the time, I prefer to study alone because I know how I study for a specific subject, or maybe I'm just studying for improvement to improve myself, or I just studying to know how to pass the exam. It depends, but the majority or almost my time I prefer to study alone. So I just finished the first fifth simple question. So now let's move on to the next fifth questions, which are medium, which are intermediate level. So let's start with question six. Six says, which subject do you find the most difficult and why? Question, okay. Question six says, which subject do you find the most difficult and why? Okay, this is depends. Question six, question six says, which subject do you find the most difficult and why? In high school, the most difficult subject I've ever encountered was physics. Yeah, physics, but it was also interesting, and it helps me wonder, helps me also start questioning things. And yeah, I would say physics, yeah, physics, and sometimes math. But math, I think it's it's also interesting. But if I had to rank them, I would say the first is physics, then the math comes the second. So let's move on to the seventh question, which is says, how do you usually prepare for exams? Oh, interesting. I can give you a full video for this answer, but it depends on the exam. It depends on the type of the exam, which is sometimes the exams are just multiple choice, and sometimes the exams the exam requires you to write, to memorize, to give something. It depends, and also it depends on the subject. So I would say that in general, I back when I was in the class, I was writing the teacher the things that the teacher emphasizes on, and also I I write notes for the important, the core concepts of the unit and of the lectures or of the class. So that's it. Then at the end of the term of the semester, I have multiple questions. I have a lot of notes, and I they are scattered. I would combine them and uh, make them ready or let those notes help me to review the important concepts of the term or the semester for that specific subject. Okay, let's move on to the next question, which says, what makes a good teacher in your opinion? A good teacher, my opinion, understand he must be understand know what he is teaching. He knows how to teach, how to deliver the lesson, how to simplify the lesson, and how to make it somehow interesting for those who are for the students. This is, I think, the most thing that the teacher has to have these two characters. So let's move on to the next question, which says, do you prefer practical learning or theoretical learning? Actually, both of them are important. The point is not just to focus to spend all of your time on theoretical learning and forget about practical learning. No, the point is to balance and to focus more on the other one, and this is depends on the subject. It depends on the thing you are learning. Let's say that you are learning something about web programming. Now you have to focus more on practical learning rather than theoretical learning. And let's also say that you are in history class. Now you have to focus on theoretical learning, which is memorization and all of those things. So it depends on the subject. I hope this answered the question. So let's move on to the 10th question, which says, how do you manage stress during exams? I manage stress during exam by telling myself, if I pass this exam, I get this thing. I accomplish my I move on, I move towards my goals. So I consider exams as check points. It's a reward for what I've done previous in the previous term or semester. So I have to end this video. I don't have enough time to continue answering the fifth hard, challenging questions because I have a limit. YouTube limits me to just publish a video under 15 minutes. So I have to end this video. So thanks for watching and see you in the next video. See you.